Hi, it's me, Chris Colley. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the city of Rochester Hills, Michigan. And today I'm going to share with you what my June Rubber Room monthly class was. And we used the Splash and Relax stamp set from the May online exclusives, as well as the Summer Happiness stamp set from the July online exclusives. So we're going to focus this month on the online exclusives. And this is some washi tape, which is an accessory that goes along with the Splash and Relax bundle. So the stamp set and the dies coordinate with this, which is really fun. You can cut it in half and use it for scrapbook pages, but it is really a great value for $6, only $6 for all of this. And you get so many different images from it. So we're going to start off with this one here. And I have actually used some of the other products from the July online exclusives. In this embossing folder, I think it's called Magic, Stars of Magic or something like that, which is a Halloween one, but it is so cool. So we're going to actually use that. And that's not the card we're going to make. We're going to make this card here. Yeah, that's the fun card we're going to make. Okay, so let's get started. This is, if you've got this class to go, this is exactly what's going to be in it. You'll get this 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, and it's scored at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side. We're just going to fold and burnish it along that score line. And then we're going to take this little piece that has been embossed already. It will come embossed in your package. And I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal to both edges of it. And I have your trim piece in here. And this is just really kind of a fun piece. But I only want that top portion to show. So I'm just going to have that little top piece showing. Everything else is going to be adhered to the back of that white piece. So it's going to look just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. So you have just a tiny bit of that old olive showing there. And if you want more to show, absolutely feel free to have more of it showing. I've done just kind of that little outside loop on this one. And you can see on the other one, I went down underneath that first stitched line. So really, it's totally up to you how much of that ribbon you want to show or not to show. And you really don't even have to add ribbon at all if you don't want to. It is your own creation. What I'm saying is just kind of a little bit of a guideline to get you started. So I'm going to add some adhesive on there, and we're going to add that to the front of our designer series paper here. Whoops, I'm going to actually put that down for a minute, and I'm going to stamp Fun in the Sun on my little piece of white paper here. I'm going to do that with some old olive. I'm going to stamp it down towards the bottom just a hair. I'm going to have to stand up to do this. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to adhere that right to this bottom corner here. my adhesive on my wort and just kind of put them right in there. And then I'm going to adhere all of this together. I'm going to go kind of, so it's up just a little bit towards the top. And I want my, I don't want my ribbon doubled up under there. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive on the back. And I'm just going to fold that ribbon right into that adhesive and hold it back there. And you don't really need these big edges on it. So I am going to cut off some of that ribbon. We don't want those big ribbon strings back there bulking up our card. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of these foam adhesive strips and I'm going to put this on the back of here. And you will, I'm going to actually put it right on that ribbon too, so it will hold that ribbon down. So I'm just going to cut some smaller strips in here. And I like to use the foam adhesive when I'm giving a whole, when I'm putting a whole piece of, a big piece of designer series paper on. It just makes more sense to me to give it a little bit of an extra boost in there. And we'll do some in the middle here, because we don't want the middle piece of this to go crashing down. There we go. Okay. Gonna put this on here. Ooh, lots of stickiness to get under control there. Okay, so we're just going to put this on in the front. And I find when I have a big piece like this, it's easier to get straight if I kind of kitty wampus it and put it on like that. Okay, so we have lots of pairs of flip-flops, and I cut these out of designer series paper. And then we have some little toe separators. And I should have 3 pairs of flip-flops and 3 pairs of separators. Okay, and then my little gems. So let's go through here, and these have sticky paper, adhesive paper on the back of them. So when I die cut them, I just added a little piece of adhesive to the back of them. So, and I think I did mine like strawberry slush on strawberry slush DSP. So I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit with these. And you can use take your pick tool or your little pokey tool and just peel your paper off the back of it. So this is just going to give it a little bit more color to the, rather than adding the yellow on the yellow. And it is a little easier because these are small spaces with the dividers, toe dividers. We used to call them thongs. They weren't flip-flops, they were thongs when I was growing up, but we don't call them thongs anymore. Because there are underwear called thongs, and these aren't underwear for sure. So, but it's much easier to add some sticky paper to the back of them. They're called adhesive sheets, but they are sticky paper. And you just put the adhesive sheet on your cardstock before you die cut it. There we go. And there we go. So then I'm just going to add some tape to the back of these. And you, when you get your little packet that you ordered to go, these die cuts will be included in it, and they will have the adhesive sheet on the back of it. Like I said before, this is exactly how your card kit's going to come in the mail to you. And we do this class every month and feature some product that I normally will focus on one stamp set, but this was just so fun and the perfect time of year to do the summer that I thought I'm just gonna go ahead and use both stamp sets here. And I'm just gonna kind of center them in there. So I'm going up and down, and I'll show you my sample so you can see what a difference it makes when you're, didn't get the end of that with there we go. And then I'm just going to bring in my little dots. These are iridescent gems, and they come in two different sizes, and I'll put a big one down here. There we go. So here I've kind of done different toe separators. So you can see the difference there and the amount of color that it adds to it, which I think is really just kind of fun. So you might want to keep that in mind when you go ahead and put yours together. So let's see, I'm trying to keep myself organized here. Our next one is going to be this one. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping on this one. And again, yours is going to come just like this. So you will have these die cut pieces on here. We're just going to move those over to the side. And this piece is going to go on the inside. So we'll start with it. And I'm just going to put that designer series paper right at the bottom here. I like to leave just a little bit of a trim. And I like to put it on before I add my card to the inside, just in case I need to trim a little bit of it off the edges. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to put this on. this is, again, is 8.5 by 5.5. That 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. Put the little sunglass inside in there. And this is just going to go on the inside of our card. And I'm going to go ahead and layer these up. I'm going to attach it. There we go. And we're going to attach this. And you can, of course, put this up on dimensionals if you wanted to. I don't think we need to, but if you wanted more dimension to your card, that's absolutely an option for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some real red ink and some strawberry slush ink, and I'm going to stamp my intertube. Okay, whenever I'm doing a two-step stamp, I'm going to start with my darkest color first. Okay, so I'm going to start with my real red. I'm going to stamp that. And it's going to go on the smaller part. So this is going to be the big part, which is going to be the lighter part. So this is going to be my smaller part. And for a two-step stamp, I like to, wow, that is really juicy. I like to go with my darkest color first. I think that gives me the best chance of lining up. Wow, that one is super juicy. Okay, and I'm going to take a minute to clean this off because I don't want to get that in that red color onto my strawberry slush color. Strawberry slush is just such a fun color too for the summer. I think it's one of those really kind of sleeper colors. I don't use it a lot, but I should. I've got something caught right there in my stamp. I don't know what it is, but it's gone now. Okay, so I'm going to ink it up with my strawberry slush. And then I'm going to line it up. And see how easy it is to line up with that dark image that's already there. Okay. There we go. I think that's so cool. And so that is going to be our intertube. And I know I have a die cut here for that. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little Stamp and Cut and Emboss. Now, if you are taking this class to go and don't have this stamp set, you can easily just trim around your circle. Okay, and then use a hole punch for the little white circle in the middle. So that's an option for you if you don't have this bundle. This bundle is such fun. Okay, so again, I'm going to take my little die cut, put it right on top of my stamped image, and put that into my little cut and emboss machine. I'm gonna hold on here. There we go. I'm not going to put that too far away because I think we might need it for a few more pieces. Very good. So that is our little intertube or floaty, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put this piece down flat, and that's kind of going to be the center, and we're just going to kind of build around it. So I have my sunglasses, and I actually am going to stamp some words on here. Let's see, I'm going to use, not Pool Party, I'm going to use Balmy Blue, and stamp Relax and Enjoy on my little circle. That little circle comes from Stylish Shapes dies. And I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. And I'm going to put this kind of like right in here. I'm going to put it straight though. There we go. And then I have these little pieces for the insides of my sunglasses. So if yours have a little bit of a bump in them, let's just take your bone folder and push it over the top, and that will kind of flatten that out for you. You can do it on the metallic side if you wanted to, that silver side, but I don't want to get it scratched up because then I'll have like scratched glasses. And this is probably best if you just do a little adhesive right on the glasses, as opposed to trying to get it on that little inside flap. Okay, so then I'm just going to add that. To both pieces. And then I have my little sandals. And I use Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. So Lemon Lolly is the lighter one. And then we're just going to use some dark ones for the little toe separator. I'm such a, wow, that didn't work out too good, did it? Now I am gonna have to put some adhesive on there. There we go. Went to peel my adhesive backing off there and peeled it right in half. That's why you should always use your little pokey tool there. Okay. Here we go. I think that's it. So I'm going to put both of these, but my sunglasses and my flip-flops are going to go on dimensionals. So really my inner tube is the only thing that's flat on my paper. But with all of these dimensionals, you can see why I decided to just put my paper down flat. I'm going to actually cut some pieces off the edge here for the bottom of my flip-flop. There we go. And we're just gonna pop everything on here. I love my flip-flops in the summer. There we go. Okay, and then I used just some rhinestone jewels. I love those. We have always had those since I was a demonstrator, which is 23 years, you guys. There. Isn't it fun? I just think that's so cute. I love summer, so these summer cards are really fun for me to make. And to send, because I know lots of people who love summer as much as I do. Okay, so let's try this one. So those of you, again, that ordered it to go, you're going to have a piece of basic white cardstock that has a strip of washi tape stuck to it. So you're going to use the dies to cut out whatever pieces you want to use, or you can hand cut them. I did not do the die cutting for this because the thought is you may want to use some different ones than I did. So again, 8.5 by 5.5 piece of strawberry slush cardstock. The 8.5 inch side scored at 4 1/4, fold and burnish. Okay, and this piece is going to go on the inside of your card. So I'm just going to add some adhesive and put that in the inside. And that's how you're going to start out, okay? And then I'm going to take this piece of striped paper. I think this yellow stripe and the navy stripe is like beach themed to me, but this one is just, let's head to the lake and have a good time. And I'm not sure if I did give you a whole piece. I did. So this is going to go right on the edge of your secret sea piece, which is really flowery on the back. And then I am going to take your longer piece of ribbon, and it's strawberry slush ribbon. I'm going to adhere it to the back. I'm just using my Stamp and Seal for that, but you could easily hold it on there with a glue dot if you wanted to. And I'm just gonna put lots of adhesive on that ribbon, and that's gonna go on the front of my card. And again, I'm putting this one on just with adhesive because I'm going to use a lot of dimensionals on the other pieces. Okay, and I'm actually going to cut out some flip-flops and some glasses. And you're going to do the whole piece. You're not just going to cut the washi tape. You're going to cut this whole piece. I'm going to do this glass and these glasses. And then I think I'm going to cut out these cherries. Just for fun to put on the inside of the card. And you do have die cuts for all of these. So you have your little camera, your milk bottle, all of those pieces. But I'm just going to quickly trim around mine so they can get a little bit of a fussy cut to them. And then we're going to adhere them. These cherries I'm going to put on the inside because I think that will be fun. And again, I do this class every month. We make 4 cards and it's $15. Or you can do a boosted class, and that's to make 2 of each of the cards. And so that is a total of 8 cards for $23. And you can come from 11 to 1 or from 6 to 8, and you can get it to go if you want. So you have lots of options. This is kind of a class that's designed to fit in with the way that you craft. So, and it's a fairly easy class, so beginners can really enjoy it also. The only thing I ask is that if you do a boosted class, you can stamp and assemble your first card, and then just stamp and prep your second card, so that if it needs embossing or die cutting, you can do that here, but that you assemble it at home. It kind of frees up a little bit of my time and the time spent using products while the other gals are here. So it's just a little thing I ask, and it's always fun to have a card kit that all you have to do is assemble, so you can take it home and do it while you're watching TV or talking on the phone. We always do lots of things like that. I was talking to my friend the other day about how I'm multitasking. If I'm on the phone, I'm loading the dishwasher or fixing dinner. I'm always multitasking, and I'm taking time this summer to just sit and talk on the phone while I'm not assembling a kit or planning a class, or that way I'm totally present and can have a nice conversation. And I think it's a better way to spend my time than trying to multitask. And I'm not good at multitasking. The older I get, the worse I get at multitasking. Sometimes I like to think I'm good at it, only to be reassured that I'm not. Okay, and we have this little lemonade bottle. This reminds me of those old, I don't know, when I was growing up, we had a milkman that brought our milk to us, and it always came in glass bottles. We didn't really have milk from the grocery store. For a long time we had a milkman before we could get it at the local grocers. It kind of reminds me, now we have dairy farms, and you still get your milk in glass bottles, so we can still purchase milk in glass bottles at the grocery store. But this is kind of a throwback to the glass bottles for me. Okay, and I'm gonna stamp Fun in the Sun on this one. Let's see what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use some Secret Sea ink for it. Secret Sea is kind of like this really pretty cross between a deep gray and a black, a jet black. So I'm gonna put that here. And actually, when I did my sample, I embossed this background, and I really didn't like it so much. So I'm gonna try this one without that embossed background and see if I like it better. Let's bring in our foam strips for this one, because it is, again, kind of a big space. So I want to pop it up a little bit around the edges, because we don't want it to collapse in the middle, right? Got this one little piece left. All right. And Strawberry Slush was one of our in colors that this is the last year we have with it. And I definitely am going to miss this one because it is so pretty. I'm just going to kind of center that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on my glasses. Put them in here. Now my lemonade. And put that in there. And then on my flip-flops. And this one, actually, I am going to be going up north for the 4th of July weekend. So you guys probably won't see this until after then, but I'm going to give this one to my sister-in-law who will be hosting us. And I always go and stay with them over the 4th. When my parents passed away, they purchased what was our family cottage, and they now live there. So they are gracious enough to host us every 4th of July. My other brothers and sisters and nieces, and we just make a family event of it. So I will give this to her with some flowers when I go. Here we go. I'm going to take that shorter piece of ribbon, and it's kind of a stiff ribbon, so I'm just going to soften it. I'm going to put it on top of my scissors, put my thumb on top of it, and just kind of drag it through there. I'm going to put it under here. Making it look a lot harder than it is. Really frayed out there. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not going to call this a faux bow because I don't think it looks anything like a bow. It's just a knot. There we go. I guess it wants to go this way. Bring in those big ribbon scissors. This is kind of a more muted. It's not really as bright and sunny colors. And that's why I chose to use that really bright Daffodil Delight with it. And then I'm going to take these cherries and I'm going to put them on the inside, like right there. There we go. So this one, it has the, oh, I need to add my dots there. And then this one has the embossing on it. And I think I added a little pineapple on the inside. So let's get our dots going on here. And you can use take your pick tool to get these on there easier. Sometimes I just like to make everything look really difficult. So I don't know what's up with that, but there we go. So that is card number 3. And our last one is a little bit of a fun fold. Get those in there. Kind of clean up a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to actually move this box out of the way. And for this one, we're going to do a little bit of cutting and a little bit of masking. We're just going to have a little bit of fun with this one. So let's get our pieces. I'm going to set everything aside except for this piece here. And we have these great masks now that are 12 by 12. And they're called water and dots. So you have this great one that looks like water, and then this one that looks like dots. We're going to use the water one, and we're going to use some Coastal Cabana ink with our blending brush on some Coastal Cabana cardstock. And I'm just going to flip this right over top of it like that. And it's not really going to matter. I'm going to move it over so I have some room to... So when you're inking this, you want to go around your edges in a circular motion. And that, if you do this, you're not going to get that big empty ink spot in the middle that you do when you do this. So you just want to go around your edges like that. And then you're going to take some off here. And we're going to add some to our cardstock. And we want to give it a really watery kind of natural look to it because we want it to remind us of the beach, of course. And we know the beach always has different color water to it. Some of it's light, some of it's dark. Most of it depends on how deep the water is. And I'm going to move this just a teensy tiny little bit up. And we're going to add a little more color to it. This will be a little more lighter of a shade to just make it look a little more realistic. Okay, and then you're going to just wipe it off. And I'm not going to wipe it off quite yet because when you wipe it, it's going to get your paper under it wet. And I don't want to get mine wet and put my cardstock in it. So I'm not going to do that. And after we do that, we're going to we're going to cut this paper. And I had my measurements written down for class, but they are not in here. So let's get my little ruler and we'll see. It is going to be 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, so we're going to go 3 7/8 by 2 3/8. Okay, so you can see how that gives it kind of a really nice texture, deep look to your cardstock. Okay, we're going to mount those on these little pieces here. I'm making a huge mess. Oops. Putting tape on the wrong piece. Okay, so that's going to go right on there. And then this piece is going to go right on here. I'm not going to worry so much about it looking like it's connected because it's going to be broken up. But I am still, there we go, that piece is going to, a little bit of this is going to be hidden behind our flap. Okay, so there are our pieces. And you're going to have for this one a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. It's scored at 5 1/2 and 2 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to fold it this way, and then I'm going to fold it back on itself. So then it's going to come back this way. Okay, I'm going to take this nice big piece. I'm going to adhere that on the inside like that. And I'm going to take this one and put it right here on this flap. And we're going to it's just like we've made our own designer series paper for this, right? There we go. So we have these little pieces of paper that we are going to stamp happy birthday on. And I'm going to do that in some Memento ink. And I'm just going to ink it up. There's our happy. And we'll ink up birthday down here. Okay. that didn't come out very good. I'm going to grab my journal pen and see if I can just fix that just a little bit. Let's see, I have a basic black. I just have a little bit in here that is kind of funky. It looks kind of dotted. So I'm just gonna, there we go. I can live with that. And then I'm gonna take my circle, and we don't carry these markers anymore, but I still have mine. So I am just gonna do a little flicking on here, and I think I'm actually gonna do it like this. So my marker is tipped down like it would be if I was writing or coloring with it, and I'm just whacking it with my bone folder. And then I can keep my tip nice and straight and all those good things. Okay, so this one, I'm again gonna cut some die cuts, but I think I'm actually gonna cut them because I have the feeling this video is getting a little bit long. So I'm gonna do a camera, some glasses, and a jar. I'm gonna do the same little stack, but I'm gonna go back to these pieces that I included in your little kit. And I have that. And I'm gonna do a pineapple. And some flip-flops. And you can really do any kind of shape that you want. Those are just the ones I'm gonna use. And again, I'm gonna put them on, and you can see the dies line up right on top of them. And I'm gonna do what I call a little ride along and put all three shapes on here at one time, so that I only have to run it through here once. So I have the pineapple, the flip-flops. The pineapple reminds me of like it being in Hawaii. So we got our camera going on too. When we were in Hawaii, I took lots and lots of pictures. I guess we were in Mexico too, and we had a lot of pineapple there. Getting this lined up with my camera is a little difficult here. Let's see. We'll see how close I came. Yeah. None of these are really staying on there. Let's try it again. I may have to just go back to using some big pieces of tape here. Let's I guess if you fussy cut this part, doesn't matter, does it? I'm thinking I didn't struggle like this before because I fussy cut. I like to cut. I find that part of it relaxing. But I know a lot of my customers don't. Whenever I have a class, I offer to do the cutting for them. Okay, let's try this again. pineapple is moving, so I'm taking it off. I don't want to take my chances on that one. Although I did have a glass, I could substitute it with a little milk jar if I needed to, but let's do those two. And then I'll do just my pineapple. Okay, one more time for the pineapple. There we go. I have a feeling that's going to be a good one. Let's get this out of here. And here's our pineapple and our camera and our flip flaps. Okay. Now, we are going to put these on dimensionals. And I have a friend that everything goes on dimensionals. I usually like to either put my paper flat or my paper on dimensionals and my images flat. But again, those are totally your own preferences. I'm going to cut this little edge piece for down here. Here we go. And we're going to put these on this little circle. Just gonna kind of set them on there for right now to get a feel for where I want them. Where I want them. I think I'm gonna move this up just a little bit, and this one down. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put adhesive just on this left side because we want to be able to open that little Z-flap card. So I'm going to put this down, kind of like that. Not press it in because I want to be sure I have room for my birthday down here. Okay, now I'm going to press it in. And happy birthday is gonna go flat. Oh my gosh, you guys should see the mess that I made. So I'm gonna put happy up here and birthday down here. And got some little iridescent gems here. I'm gonna put little and a big one here, and I'm gonna go with the little one right up there. Okay, so this is our fourth card. I hope you guys enjoyed these. This one I put some sunglasses on, so it looks a little bit different, and I did the water a little bit different. with my stencils. So I hope you guys enjoyed these, and I hope you'll think about coming to our next Rubber Room Monthly Club or class. Thanks. Bye-bye.